Welcome to the Moms That Read podcast. I'm Kaylee.
And I'm Mackenzie, and we are joined by indie author Harriet Ashford, the mastermind behind the characters you probably need therapy over, especially after this last book. Gabriel Michael, the voice behind characters you definitely fell in love with, including a certain shadow-wielding daddy fan favorite from Working.
Yeah. So
And I was just telling Harriet, like before we hopped on, I was like, I was telling my best friend, so we were interviewing you, and I was like, if Lucien has a fan, it is one of my best friends. And I was like, we're interviewing him. She's like, oh, you mean Lucien? I was like, I mean, well, yeah, but XADEN. And she was like, no.
Yeah, I get that a lot of times. They're like, "Xaden's okay, but Lucian's everything."
Really?
that's interesting.
Oh, because I feel like in the book world, Lucien's just kind of like Lucien, like wherever.
I
But
think
that's
it's
so
like,
funny.
because they get introduced to me usually via the Shadow Daddy voice, where
Yeah.
I pop up into a more kind of jokester, lighthearted sound. I mean,
Mhm.
Harriet in general, like, there's a character in the most recent book, she heard it,
Mhm.
"Oh, you can do that voice?" I'm like, "It's actually my go-to voice." Y'all got introduced to something that I had to kinda grow into, which was, like, the growly voice.
Right.
So you didn't start out doing like the growly.
No, no, I
Yeah.
started off like if I could get into that range, but I couldn't
Mhm.
necessarily sustain it, so I think what you get is and Lucian does it in book 1 in graphic audio's version,
Mhm.
like a genteel type of deep kinda anger, more
Mhm.
vampiric as opposed to, like, warrior. Uh
Yeah.
and so, so I'm used to a Lucian type of character. He's husky. I think when they
Mhm.
encounter the bog, yeah,
Yeah.
that's first when the women were like, "Yo, who is this boy? Not Alan? He's not Reese Allen. Look, it's me."
Yeah. And then you did Xaden, and everybody's like, oh my gosh.
Xaden opened up a lot of doors. I'm very fortunate.
It's
Yeah.
insane.
That's
That's
so
crazy.
fun. Okay. So how did you two first end up working together?
I ended up we were talking about doing a duet performance, and I was talking to Marie about it. That was like my hope for Love and Coaches. And a but I didn't have like the budget for it necessarily. And then a ghostwriting job just like fell into my lap, and like the ink had not dried on the check, and I was texting Marie and I was like, "Hey, is this enough for this project, do you think?" And, she was like, "Yeah, not only do I think that it's enough for the project, I think it's enough to be picky." And I was just like, "Okay, well, if we're being picky, there's a certain shadow daddy voice I would love to have." And so I ended up stalking him on Instagram. I found his website, pulled up his email, and I drafted the most awkward thing you've ever seen. Like, it was so
It was so
bad. It was so it was ha half of it was me, like, talking about, like, how much I love Gabriel's work,
Mhm.
but, the other half was, like, all the reasons why, like, I understand why he wouldn't wanna take on my project and all of this. Anyway, so I ended up texting Maria. I was like, "You know what? I'm not gonna send this. This is a waste of his time." Like, and she's like, "What do you mean? It's fine. Just do it. Just send it. What's the worst that can happen? Is that he says no." And I'm like, "Okay, fine, sure. I'll just embarrass myself. No big deal." So I send it, and like my email's really weird. And then I can tell when someone opens an email. And so like I could see he opened it and no response. And like a normal person who has confidence would be like, "Oh, he's just busy, or he just like is thinking about it." But I was like, "Okay, that's fair. It's a rejection. It's time to come back to earth." So we started talking to like normal, regular people about like auditioning. And within 24 hours, Gabriel messaged back and said, yeah, he was interested.
Oh,
So,
I love that.
yeah.
No, that's exactly how we feel messaging authors like, "Hey, do you wanna come on our podcast? We really love your stuff."
Yeah.
When,
Yeah.
narrators who are, like, really in demand for a particular genre,
Mhm.
those inboxes, they can fill up really, really quickly,
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
any social media platform. But, I say we, the people I've worked with, when I have assistants and stuff,
Uh-huh.
Mhm.
uh, you'll be surprised how much on a first name basis we already are before we meet you all.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's funny that you said I responded the same day because I do remember just I can see the subject line. I can see the name Harriet, which you don't see all the time. Um, and every email has personality and character that is definitely picked up by the no matter how busy the person is.
Mhm.
People
Mhm.
that will say the people who send oh gosh, I'm gonna open the floodgates. But even fan mail, like the ones that are actually really lengthy, those are the ones I'm actually really sitting there and
Yeah.
Yeah.
reading through, and by the end of it, you've brought me in, you know? And there are certain
Yeah.
it's like in certain times where it's like, "Oh gosh, I'm so busy," but if you have a lot to
Yeah.
say, it for
Yeah.
this narrator and, this talent, it actually makes me feel at ease when a person has a lot to say in a pitch because I can
Mhm.
sense that their heart's in it, and that
Yeah.
is artist, that's what I'm looking for.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's
I love
awesome.
that.
So, Harriet, what was it like hearing your characters come to life through someone else's voice for the first time?
I'm excited.
It's so incredible, and I know that there's authors out there, and I get it, where they can't listen to their audiobooks, but for me, there's enough of a buffer, like, I can't usually read my books after they're published, but when there's an audiobook, there's enough of a buffer where it's like someone who is telling me a story and I can just get lost in it again, and
Mhm.
so I just get to enjoy it, first of all, and then second of all, when you have talent like Gabriel and Marie, where they're really encompassing the character, they're paying attention to all the little details. They really do come very close to how I pictured it in my head, which is
Yeah.
a trip because it's like this was born from like a shower thought or like me like dropping my kid off at the bus stop, and now I'm hearing
Yeah.
the voices come to life. It is so cool.
Right, like, you write your books very readable, as
Yeah.
Thank
Mhm.
you.
not a we try to make every book sing, even if it doesn't fit
Yeah.
in our mouth easily. How that's how
Mhm.
weird to say, but Harriet's writing, it's really smooth. Like, Harriet, you
Yeah.
Mhm.
see the dialogue. You're
It
great
is.
with dialogue, and I'm just so happy that, you paired, Gabe like you gave a good foil in Trevor, um,
Mhm.
because it was so enjoyable. You made him funny.
Yeah.
Like, I'll be honest,
Yeah.
not everyone can write for the opposite gender and make them funny.
Oh my
Like,
gosh.
Yes.
man,
That
I just,
one
like, say
that I don't
Thank
spit at. Oh
you.
my god.
it's just yeah.
Especially
That literally, you had me cackling on line 3 with the bird shirts. Like, the bird because I was like, "I don't spit, and I said, "Bird? Oh, that's funny." Like, I audibly cackled because that was so good.
Thank you.
I don't want a shirt that says that. I
I
don't know,
told
like,
her to do that for merch. That needs to be a
We
merch shirt.
100%.
we all need to be walking around with "I don't spit, I swallow."
Okay. You come you come to Greenville on
Yes.
June 6th, and I will get us shirts made that say, "I
I'll
don't
wear
spit,
it.
I swallow."
Like, Greenville where?
South Carolina.
Oh,
Mhm.
I did a contract in Greenville.
Did
Really?
you?
Yeah, it was
Really?
2014, there was a, traveling production that the Warehouse Theater was doing of Midsummer Night.
Oh, yeah.
It
Okay, cool.
That's where we're from.
I love Greenville, that whole little
Yeah.
downtown district is just still so pretty, just over the bridge.
And so and they've, like, done so much with it. I mean, since I graduated high school in 2014, and so, like, since then, it has blown up, and there's a lot of really cool things.
Oh,
Like,
what
we just did, like, an author panel at a book event, like, so at the breweries, they do, like, a bunch of
Mhm.
indie author tents, like, it's really cool.
did you ever see anything at the Warehouse Theater or the
I
performance?
didn't.
Wow.
Mm-mm.
I think in
I
2014, they
never
had
moved
book
up here.
signing, they were doing. It was really good.
Oh, man, okay.
So, do you 2 talk about character voices beforehand, or do you just kind of let him run with what he sees fit?
So, I really don't give you Gabriel a lot of direction, and I don't know if that makes your job harder, Gabriel, but my whole thing is I did not give any direction on Trevor, and just the way he absolutely when I tell you when I heard him read Trevor's lines, I was so floored because he nailed this character so perfectly.
Oh,
Yeah.
So, like, I hate to, like, give direction and then, like, squash your creativity, so we don't really talk too much. I mean, right, Gabriel? A little bit. We talked about Jude briefly.
I feel like
Dude.
we just kinda I think, honestly, for the second one, it was just Jude. I was just like,
Yeah.
how does he sound? You know what, though? Like, should I okay, edit around this if you feel like it makes me look bad, please. Um, but Like, you should I mean, like, this was book 2, so when you already work with or
Mhm.
you don't have to go back to the drawing board and do all of the stuff you do at the beginning.
Right. Mhm.
However, I remember both times I did want a little bit more with how the characters were gonna sound because I always feel that first chapter on both of the books, I'm just being picky. I'm like, are these characters like, Gabe, are you really doing enough? But the writing is so good by the next chapter. Everything is like, and I wanted to avoid this time around. And I was like, I should have asked about Jude. Because it's like I just made a choice with it. I, Sometimes I make a choice, and you should always make a choice and go with the choice. Like,
Yeah.
you should
Mhm.
commit to it. I don't
Mhm.
which that makes sense. I don't do this anymore, but for the longest time, I would be unsure about how I wanted a character to sound and just think it would be okay for them to go in and out of a different character voice, like,
Oh.
for, like, a whole chapter, and that like, "No, you can't do this," and so we drew it up, like he's so specifically written, I could have been super specific
Mhm.
with it, but then I said,
Uh-huh.
it's like, you don't have to give everything away in the first scene. It's okay if you do
Mhm.
Yeah.
super distinct in an establishing scene, and then the
Yeah.
Mhm.
more you kinda get into it, you find the voice. I know that was really long-winded, so, like, if it's not usable, I'm sorry.
No, we
No.
love it.
No, we love
Yeah,
that.
definitely.
Okay, so kind of going off of that, Gabriel, like, what is it like kind of immersing yourselves into or, like, what was your favorite part, I guess, immersing yourself into both Gabe and Trevor in both of these books?
I feel like I gotta put myself into it. I just finished Trevor, so if I go back to book 2, right? That's book 2, Harriet? Even though it's
Mhm.
title? The
It's
first
book 3 of the series.
the one with Gabe.
It's book 2,
Gabe
yeah.
is book 2. Yeah.
Okay, okay. That one was like a more standard character and a more standard progression what I was used to. Not the plot, not the specific
Mhm.
of the sports, but just kind of like, a cool guy who's like
Yeah.
Yeah.
had a few words, bit of self-loathing. Um, so that's like your standard fare. But when you get into dialogue, you really feel like you don't feel like you're projecting lines. You feel like
Uh-huh.
Mhm.
that back and forth. I mean, you really you as the actor can feel that. You always should
Mhm.
just focus on the scene, but you can really tell when you're in a book, especially you're in the trenches of an audio book. When that conversation, you don't even think about it anymore. You know,
Mhm.
Uh-huh.
it just you're completely taken there. I feel like you were really detailed with the way you wrote Gabriel's sorrow and his pain. I think these
Mhm.
and sometimes bring into these stories sometimes gets either overblown or not deep enough. And
Yeah.
it's a hard line to draw to walk. And I feel like Harriet, you picked very specific things that would like set him off or bring up bad memories within him. And then you
Mhm.
really drilled those specific things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you really like told it. And so that's like, felt like I had to find my gravity in the first chapter. I was like, you're just talking a mile a minute because you're so used to everything being measured and control. I'm like, am I
Mhm.
even acting? And then it was like, but that was really great about him. Trevor has very specific hangups too.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Double in on. You pick something specific and you're like, we're not going to just mention it once and then twice when it's like there. You stick
Mhm.
with it. And for me, I the first day of I did her book in 2 days, the third one.
Oh.
I did it in 2 sessions. That very first day, I had slept on it the night before recording for the first day of book 3, and I've sometimes maybe slept on something wrong and it hurt. This felt like my arm was broken, and
Oh my gosh.
I like to stand, and all I have to do with my right arm, is just my trackpad kinda lives here as I scroll, and I have a dog clicker in this hand. I felt literally every passing second, I was like, "It's getting worse." Even when I was like, "Okay, I can't do this. I'm just gonna have to switch to this arm," even lying stationary, I felt it excruciating, getting worse, and I was like,
Mhm.
"Oh my gosh," and then all of a sudden, Trevor hurts himself. I've never been more thankful for a character to be hurt in my life because I'm not gonna lie, it was a hard day of recording because of
I'm
that pain.
so sorry.
And
No.
the first chapter really sounds like this. I'm in so much pain. And then when he hurt himself, I was like,
This is meant to happen.
to the narration, like not just the dialogue. I the narration like, man,
You know,
okay. It was every time it would come, I was like, "Oh my goodness." The thing is that I didn't because I was in so much pain, I did not think I was going to finish that day. I thought I was gonna, like, talk about self-care. Look, this little narrator, when I call the shots, it's at home. I'm waiting for the wind to blow ear to be like, "We're not recording anymore today." Let any excuse. This would have done it. All of a sudden, I was like, "You banged out 60% of this book." And it's the moment my actual pain got to connect with the pain of the character,
Locked in.
Yeah.
I no longer
You know, he was
whoa.
in pain like most of the book, especially at the end. So that works out.
And you believe it, and now you know why. You
But
believe
I
it for Gabriel. Oh my
I'm
gosh.
I'm gonna be so excited to listen
Oh, I know. I'm
this book
gonna go
now.
back and listen to
Yeah.
it. I
Oh
can't
no,
wait.
you guys are gonna love it. And I was talking to Gabriel about this. Our engineer Johnny was like, "Don't listen to the raw audio. Just wait till we get the duet in there, nice and good." I see Gabriel's drop the files, and I'm like, "Bet."
Well, here's the thing though, like, see, now I'm glad that you did this and you told me because it's a lesson to learn, because I sometimes tell myself, "Only Johnny's gonna hear this." Because I was in so much pain. It's never full on sentences, but you will hear from me, like, y'all don't hear it because it's just me, my
Yeah.
engineer. You will hear, "Why the fuck does that sentence have to be like that?" I'm like, like, and I'm like, there's had to be at least one point. I don't think I would have mentioned Harriet or your work, but there had to be at
No.
least one point where I was like, "Johnny, I can't take it. I'm in so much pain."
Oh my
I bet
gosh.
that helped the suspenseful part of it too.
Yes, tense.
So now we're gonna ping pong some questions back and forth.
Mhm.
Harriet, which FMC of yours do you relate to the most?
Okay, does it have to be an FMC? Because the answer's Trevor. It's Trevor, without a doubt. Like, I asked my husband this question, and I said, "Which female main character am I?" And he was like, "You're Trevor." And it's like the golden retriever, talks too much, has no filter,
Oh, love that.
undiagnosed ADD. I can't stand it when people are mad at me. And like, you know how Trevor, every time like he's scared, not every time, but when he's scared or in pain, he'll often deflect with humor, and that's
Mhm.
to a T.
I love that so much.
The moment you were like, Margot is a black cat, I was like,
That's you?
I
I love it.
so
We
related
are
to Margot.
Margot.
We are Margot through and through. Yes.
I love that.
Okay, so Gabriel, how difficult is it to make voice changes for different characters? And you were using so many technical terms, like I'm so just impressed. But like, is there a certain one that you think has been the hardest? And I guess you kind of talked about that with XADEN too. Like you grew into that essentially.
Yeah. Now XADEN is like a reliable voice I can go to.
Hmm.
I feel like these days the voices I've done the job enough to where I'm sticking with voices that I know how to do, you know?
Mhm.
And I still take my time with them just to push my efforts. Um, but I feel like what it is, it's tropes. It's like difficult for me. The trope that is hard is the character that's like they're probably like Garrick almost. They're bigger than they're physically bigger than the main dude,
Hmm.
but they're not as serious. And I feel like I end up just coming up with like this like stereotypical like bro man. And I'm just like I feel so hacky. I think it sounds great sometimes, but I'm like, and it's such a trope. I hear it in
Yeah.
anime time, but I'm like, there's gotta be a way to just like bring that character type out and make it just even more human. Cause what happens is I'll do a character like that, and then they'll be like, book 3, they're the main character. I'm like, no. Like, no. Like, yeah, no, if you give me characters books that switch voice types, I'm excited. It keeps me interested.
Hmm.
It frees up my voice. The worst thing is they're like, here's all my male leads. They're all deep and growly. I'm like, no, no.
No, no.
Yeah.
No.
My vocal health, but I'm like, I promise you, once we get to
Hmm.
Cut, I'm all out of ideas. Like if you don't get my
Yeah.
consent, or so
Hmm.
I encourage, just gonna make a PSA. I encourage all authors, look, have your shadow daddy character. It's okay.
Hmm.
Foil sounds like he's here. Listen to the
Hmm.
attractive guys you know. I promise you, listen to their actual voice. You'll be like, wait, they have like a tenor voice. It's like
Right.
Yeah.
men are like really talking down here. Believe it or not.
No, I like as a reader though, I also don't want that. Like I want it to be like so different among all the male characters or
Mhm.
even the female characters. Like I want it all different. And so that makes complete
I
sense.
feel like I would get genuinely so confused if they were all the same, like as to who was speaking in that moment. It makes it better to like,
Authors
differentiate.
ask me this authors ask me this all the time. They ask me, like, "What would help you best,
Mhm.
characters, but also give me free creative control?" I'm always like, "Stick to voice types, texture,
Mhm.
Mm,
mood, high voice, low voice, mid voice." That
mhm.
so basic, but I guarantee you, if you start doing that, you will start ending up with those books that you want, with characters that all sound very completely different. Because sometimes
Yeah.
an
Smart.
author may want that, but they don't realize that they gave everyone the same kind of descriptors, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, that
That
makes
makes
sense.
sense.
Yeah.
I'm just tripping that he's giving me so many different voices right now. And I'm like, what made you want to write, Harriet, some suspense into The Trouble with Love and Exposure?
I love that question because it's not that I was like, ooh, let me write a romantic suspense. It was that I had this idea for Trevor and Margot, and I was just praying I could make it work like in the scope of a rom-com because I'd already set up the
Mhm.
expectations in these two books that they're like cute
Mhm.
and fun and flirty. And now I'm like, oh, so here he's gonna be held at gunpoint and yeah, I don't know. So it was really hard to get the balance right.
I was completely floored. You had
Were
me
you?
until the very end. I was not expecting it at
Mhm.
all. Like I was like,
No,
surely it's
I
not guy.
wasn't either. Like, look, like, I like to keep certain things a secret from myself in the booth. And Jude
Mhm.
and that's why, honestly, the fact that I feel like I sound a little bit all over the place at first is actually good because he was always
Yeah.
hiding some dirt. He was
Yeah.
Yeah.
but like there's something going on here.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Um, and that was fun to play. Like,
Yeah.
especially because like in the first book when we have Shadow Daddy, I'm so trained that like even in romance, so not romantasy where
Mhm.
there's a lot of depth.
Mhm.
I'm just trained that like when you got a growly dude as the main character, the person who slighted the female, the FMC is gonna die. Like they're gonna die, and it's like, but it's sometimes it's a lot. Like it's sometimes you're like,
Mhm.
"Oh, gotta,
Yeah.
you gotta play that,
Yeah.
but you gotta play that aggression, that
Mhm.
protectiveness." And
Yeah.
Mhm.
with Gabe because it's not that serious.
Yeah.
And so
Yeah.
Mhm.
it's like, okay, I'm like, we're skipping this. And but with Trevor, I was like, when it happened and it went that way, I said, no, I'm happy to play the drama. And like I'm happy to play like if people I don't have spoilers, people might die, they might die. I didn't feel like it was people like, okay, like I gotta kill someone because I'm like the main dude. It was like,
Yeah.
oh man, you are in pain and they're playing in your face. They're stepping on
Yeah.
Literally.
my arm hurts. You
Yeah.
gotta pay for this. And Jude, I'm sorry, but you had to get it.
100%.
It was
Yes.
so cinematic too. So cinematic. Again, like I don't want to give away too much either, but when you did the line Jude said, oh, I think that'll work for our little bird. I was like, ah, Gabriel.
Oh, okay.
No, this is
That's
coming out, I think,
this is like
2 weeks
2 or 3 weeks
after your book
after.
So
comes
they should
out.
have
So
read
we're
it by
giving
then.
people a little bit of time to read
Yes.
it before they get on here.
Yes.
So we can spoil.
Okay, perfect,
We
perfect.
can
Okay.
spoil.
So, Gabriel, can you give us an overview of kind of what the process for reading books looks like? Because like I feel like I just hearing you talk about it had no clue what this process looked like for narrators and voice actors, like not a single clue.
Yes. Where do you want me to begin? Acquiring the books,
I guess
for the
like
books?
post like decision with authors and like kind of like how reading kind of plays out. Like you said it took you 2 days
Yeah,
to record, which
yeah.
is insane.
I don't know why I thought it took so much
I did
longer.
too.
You know what's even crazier is that when people are actually brought in studio, um,
Mhm.
by a publisher, they would bang out a book of that length in the single session. Like
Oh,
5 or 6 hours.
Wow.
I don't know if I could do that. I would want my voice to kinda just be preserved, but that happens all the time. Um, and
It's
for
crazy.
me, I could probably if it's self-care, I'm like, "Let me give you an hour of finished audio,
mhm.
a day for whoever I'm working for if it's narration." But, I am trained to do around 2.5 hours. I mean, I've done more than that, but, like, I'm trained to kinda do 2.5 hours of finished audio. So
Mhm.
you can accomplish, especially in romance books or romantasy, where the male doesn't necessarily have, like, 80% of the title, like,
Okay.
that in 2.5 hours over 2 sessions, 5 hours, that may be more than enough for what is at
Okay.
time. I think for this one, I think definitely I feel like I was able to knock it out in 2 sessions. However, you have to work up to that endurance. Uh,
Okay.
Yeah.
I always say if someone was wanting to transition into narration and
Mhm.
literally tell them, they're like, "I wanna do it. I really wanna do it, but I want it to be a seamless transition." I would say plan for 45 minutes of finished audio a day.
Mhm.
That is not gonna seem like, on paper, a lot of audio. That you will spend 2 hours in that studio, to deliver, I mean,
Mhm.
maybe 2.5 hours to deliver.
Oh,
I'm hitting out with all the jargon today.
Yeah.
no, I
We're
love it. I'm
learning.
literally like teacher at heart, learner all the time. I'm like eating this up. I'm like, I'm so just curious.
And it's like and because and I always say, like, take your time for you people who if you hear this podcast,
Mhm.
wanna get
Mhm.
into narration and you're like, "I booked the book. When should I set the deliverables?" Give yourself so much time. This is a job that is so amazing to do, but you can
Mhm.
absolutely break yourself doing it.
Yeah.
It
Mhm.
and hate read a book. This takes stamina. So,
Mhm.
that's what that looks like. Always set your booth up in a way that is easy to get in and get out. You get into the zone. I have such an intimate relationship with my microphone that I
Mhm.
have learned that if I'm like, I want to bring that magic to the studios I have to work in when I go outside of the booth.
So, Harriet, what made you want to write about an Iron Man? Like, have you ever done one, or is it like a goal of yours to
So
do
this is a long story, and I'll try to shorten it. But essentially, my husband and I were training for an Ironman right at 2020, and so we had done all this work, and the
Mhm.
race got canceled. And
Yeah.
so it's like, man, when I'm telling you, like, hours of my very limited weekend time, like on the bike, I'm waking up at 4 in the morning to like do the workouts, and it is so intense. And so it got canceled, and we're like, okay, it's fine. We'll do the next one.
Mhm.
So, of course, it gets canceled
Of
again.
course.
This happens
Yeah.
3 times. And, finally, we're like, "You know what? We're just gonna do one on our own." And so, like, I'm not an Ironman. I didn't actually do the race, but I did the 140.6 miles,
Yeah.
with
Wow.
them. So
Still an Iron Man.
Yeah. That
More than
definitely
I've ever done
counts.
or will do.
thanks.
You're
My
an Iron
my
Man.
husband ended up so that by the time that the race was actually, like, on, like, they finally, like, did it, I was pregnant at the time, and so my husband did the race, and he ended up grabbing me a medal and a shirt and all this, and I was sobbing. He's like, "You are an
Oh,
Iron Man." It was so sweet.
yes. I love that.
Yeah.
Oh,
Ugh,
That's
he's a little
precious.
golden retriever
He
husband.
is.
I love
he
that.
he is so sweet.
Oh my goodness.
Got to see, like I was telling, Harriet last time I was in Texas, the people who are able look, I'm single, so I'm not judging, but the people who are able to do this job as an author, the ones that really thrive have really great support
Support
systems in the form of
system.
Mhm.
Mhm.
often, but when I got to see him in action and I was like, "Oh, this is why she's so great at her job." She gets
Yeah.
all the
Oh,
Yeah.
so kind.
that's so sweet.
Yeah.
I feel
Oh,
that.
I
We love
love
all the
that.
He's
book
good at that.
husbands that do all the things behind the scenes.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah,
Literally.
because it would be so easy for him to be like, "You're spending all this money on this, you're spending all this
Mhm.
time on this," and it's never like that with him. He's like,
Yeah.
"You know
Mhm.
what? This is a family effort. We're gonna make it work." So,
Mhm.
I'm really
That's
lucky.
good.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
awesome.
So sweet.
Okay, so Gabriel, how did you get into reading and narrating for audiobooks? Like, what did that journey for you look like?
I wanted to be an audiobook narrator as early as 13.
Oh, wow.
I
Wow!
remember yes, my very first, sorry, 14, early as 14. My very first play was Great Expectations, and
Uh-huh.
I didn't get into any of the extracurricular plays that year. It was a really tough school, and I got into this one, and I had never been in any old-timey type of situation. I mean, now I know it's Victorian literature by Charles, and I was blown away by all the voices, that were in this play, and I took the whole play, it was 3 hours long, and I memorized every line.
Wow.
Wow.
Because I also had a speech impediment, and that's what like, that was what was killing me. I was like, "I wanna act, but these students are such good speakers here." I
Yeah.
had
Mhm.
a lot of confidence, yeah, at that age.
Mhm.
These people did. Um,
Mhm.
and I was like, I only have, like, 3 lines, and I can barely even get them out in this dialect, and this accent, and this cadence,
Mhm.
and so I practiced and practiced and practiced and practiced, and then I'll never forget, I was practicing over the summer so bad, my speech in general, because I was always self-conscious about it, and
Mhm.
I was like day it was like day 1 of my American Studies class, and we were reading this poem, and I was like, "Can I read?" She was like, "Sure," and then afterwards, she was like, "You could be a books on tape reader." Just it was I needed to hear that because I was like,
Yeah.
Oh,
the entire summer
no, I love that. That is such a
Love it.
powerful
It
It
is.
story.
is.
It
No, that's
it
incredible.
really was. I felt like Viola Davis has this really powerful, interview where she talks about she had to learn that, like, you can't leave yourself at the door. You have to bring
Mhm.
yourself to the room, and a lot of times when you start acting when you're young too, at least for me, I felt like everything about me had to be left at the door. So I was an actor who was known for transforming. It was never like, okay, like bring my natural charm and just like step onto the stage
Mhm.
and talk because I didn't think I had any and I didn't believe in
Mhm.
myself. So it was always like a night and day switch when I was performing,
Mhm.
but it made me feel very safe and protected. But during that time when I recorded that, that same week, there was a company that was doing audiobooks and they needed I'm backstage and full time, and they wanted to cast a woman and a man to do partner narration. I created a demo on GarageBand on my phone. I don't even know what a soundproof space is. I am saying my favorite anime lines, thinking that no
Yes.
know it, and they're the most famous lines in anime. Throwing, five of them are from Naruto. Throwing music behind it, and I sent it off and there was like 100 applicants, they said, and they narrowed it down to like 12. And then they had us come in and do scenes. We're like, what? We thought this was voiceover, but I'm ready to act. I'm ready for it.
Yeah.
Right.
They offered me the job on the spot and
Wow.
I did it.
Wow.
And that's not usually how you enter the industry. You don't usually join a
Mhm.
company that does it.
Mhm.
Usually
Right.
publishers or independent authors. Um, and it was a lot of work, and I had
Mhm.
to learn, "Wow, you said you wanted this, but do you
Mhm.
really?" I
Yeah.
had a lot of fails before I got my
Yeah.
successes.
I
No,
No,
we
love
love
that.
that's
that.
so amazing.
We went from that like heartfelt story, and now I'm gonna ask Harriet who her favorite book boyfriend is that she
Oh,
wrote.
see, so and are you talking about my books?
Yes.
Because that's like you guys are moms, you should know better. That's like asking like who's your favorite child? I
That's
cannot.
fair.
I
Let's
cannot.
okay. Then who's
Yeah,
your favorite book boyfriend?
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know. Again, like I'm like thinking I want to say XADEN because Gabriel's right here, but honest to God, I don't know. Maybe Gus from Please Read.
Oh,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I
okay.
don't know though. I don't know. There's so many good ones.
I do love a good Gus.
Okay.
You haven't read that one yet, have you?
No.
I
Yeah,
do love a
Emily
good
Henry.
Gus.
Yeah.
Well, then who is your favorite MMC from your stories?
Wait,
Like
who's my favorite
who's
what?
been your favorite MMC to write out of your book?
Oh. Oh, that is hard.
Yeah.
That's hard again because they were all my favorite. Okay, because like Gabriel, I
The
loved
golden
writing.
retriever energy.
I
Yeah.
I love writing Gabriel because his backstory really resonated with me, and so like
Mhm.
it was
Mhm.
really healing. Um, but I loved writing Trevor because it was just so natural. Like I just knew
Mhm.
exactly what he needed to
Yeah.
say.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So I don't know if I can pick a favorite from the two. I love Beck too, but
Yeah.
I didn't write from his point of view. So talking about Gabriel and Trevor, yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm. Okay, that's fair.
Yeah.
Okay, Gabriel. So, you've talked about the studio. Do you have your own space that you record in,
I
or do
yeah.
you hop around to different places?
I have my own space, and I got my own space probably within once I started working at that audiobook job, that very first one,
Mhm.
that was December of 2019. So then 3
Okay.
months later, COVID hit.
Yeah.
And
Right.
for a month, I was working out of that narrator Rebecca's studio because
Mhm.
she had a space that she built, and then I realized you need to build one now, and so all of the money that we were getting from the government, I was just like, microphone this week.
Yeah.
Anyways,
Yeah,
Uh-huh.
never
literally.
have the opportunity to do this.
Yeah.
Right.
I got good
Mhm.
at sound and lights, but I was never good at building, and it was so embarrassing because, like, my rival was great at buildings. I know you'd be like, "Dang, he kinda leveled up." I sure did make a piece, and I've built 3, 4, 5, 6 of these suckers.
Listen, I'm just saying, I sense a book brewing with your rival
That's
was the
what I was
builder.
thinking. I'm like, let me write some notes
Yeah, he's
here.
right. No,
Yeah, seriously.
lucky.
Write this down, Harriet, because
Come
I can't
on.
write a book. Which couple was your favorite to write about?
Don't.
You have to
Same,
pick.
but
You have to pick one.
different. I don't know. I really, truly, I love different things about all of them. I don't know. I can't. Like, I want to
I would
say,
imagine it's too early to pick. Like,
yeah,
you know what I mean?
Okay.
yeah.
It's
And
'cause
still,
it's like you could talk about, like, I feel like when you're, like, 80, you'll be like, "You know what?
you know
I
what
like
it
I like
was.
a little bit better sometimes." You know?
Yeah. Yeah, maybe
This
that's
one.
it. I'm too close still to them. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm
That
sorry.
I
would
love
be my
Trevor
pick.
and Margot.
That
I
would
You
be my
love
pick.
really?
Trevor. I
Yeah.
love
I love
them.
that.
This is my pick.
Love
And I
them.
read The Trouble with Love and
Yeah.
Ink, like, when you published it.
Like a
So,
while
like,
ago.
Fan.
true fan, yeah. I've been around since then.
I think like Trevor is just he was so funny.
Mhm.
I loved anytime they were trying to be serious, it was like joke.
You
Yeah.
know, it's
Joke.
Yeah.
funny 'cause it's like
I love
like Harry,
this.
great casting, 'cause I'm not gonna lie, like, I'm telling you, I'm really locked into the Shadow Daddies now. But
Yeah.
when I first started, when I said I had a lot of fails, 'cause I was in the harem genre, and literally
Mhm.
people would just be like, Gabriel Michaels MCs are just, like, kinda hammy, and I'm like, "'Cause y'all, I'm sorry, like, I had to grow into, like, put it out. I'm gonna pull it out, and I'm gonna put it in." You know? So I'd be on the books, and I'd be like, "I'm gonna pull it out. I'm gonna" you know, so now, to me, Trevor was a return to form. Every time I'd be like, "Am I not taking this serious enough?" It's like, "No, 'cause he would make a joke out of
He
it too."
wouldn't. He wouldn't. Yeah.
No, I love that.
No.
This is perfect.
Oh my god.
I'm
Okay.
so glad that you guys love Trevor, and I've had a lot of people say the same, that he's their favorite. I was really afraid to write him because he wasn't like the masculine. I don't
Yes.
know.
Yeah.
He just is
No.
very playful
Well,
and
there were plenty of times where I was like, "Okay, Trevor,
oh
take the lead."
yeah.
And I was like, "Okay, okay, stop." Like, didn't see this coming, but you got me there.
I feel it
See?
too, like, sometimes
Yeah.
I feel a little, like, naughty when it's, like, when I'm playing a character who I think is a little bit more of a goof, there's still a man, but, like, I kind of forget a little bit 'cause it's, like, it's not as serious, and
Mhm.
and then, like, a tone will come into my I'm so in the moment, it's like, this is what you want it to be, like, when the jack
Yeah.
Yeah.
all of a sudden turned on, you want it to feel that way, but I'll be, like,
Mhm.
and then I'll be like, "Dang," like, I'll pause and
Okay.
"Did I deliver that in the sauce?" It's like, "No, this is what's natural," like,
Yeah.
the nerd
Yes.
dirty in the bedroom. You know?
Uh-huh. It's
Love
true.
it. God, those were, like, honestly one of my favorite MMCs because I'm just like,
Yeah.
not everyone needs to see that side, and I
Yeah.
love it.
We love a
True.
shadow daddy, but, like, we married Trevor's, you know
Yeah.
what
That's
I mean?
exactly it.
100%.
So it's fun to get that as well. Like, we did not marry shadow daddies, we
Yeah.
married Trevor's.
Oh my god. Okay, so Gabriel, do you like to read outside of audiobooks? Like, are you
You know,
a reader?
books, I'll be honest, I can't. I cannot read a book
Mhm.
doing so much of what I do. I try
Yeah.
to, um, I listen. I realize I rather read a book than listen to an audiobook. I only
Mhm.
like listening to audiobooks. I need to hear a voice echo around an environment. I'm a Gemini who we're reading every day online. I'm scrolling every day. When
I love that.
I like to read Naruto battles on Reddit. I'll be honest.
10-year-old son is obsessed with Naruto.
The other day, what was like F1? I used to be the voice for a YouTube channel that was F1. It was British. I was a temp voice. It didn't bring me back. After 8 voices, people were like, "Who is this fraud?" I'm like, "Sorry, y'all."
Sorry.
But the drama that goes down in F1, if you don't know about it, oh,
I've seen F1 books, but I've never read one, but now I want to.
Yeah.
so
No,
good.
never.
Like, we're not doing it right. It's the new heated rivalry.
Nice.
Oh, Okay.
Well, we're gonna have to look up some F1 books now because I'm interested. I am
Exactly.
interested.
Add that to the list.
Okay, Harriet, when you write, do you listen to music or like do you listen to like a song that describes each couple?
It definitely depends. So whenever I am like, because a big part of writing is just thinking about it. It's like away from the keyboard and away from my journals. And so whenever I'm writing a specific book, like I always have a playlist that I'll listen to. But when like I sit down to like get me in the mood and like to be
Yeah.
thinking about what's going on, but whenever I sit down to actually start writing, I can't have any lyrics. I'm like, shut up.
Yeah.
I can't think. What I actually do is I listen to video game music a lot of the time because it was made to make
Oh.
you focus.
Oh.
And it works
Okay.
like a charm.
Okay.
That's
So I need to
interesting.
play that in my classroom.
Yeah, so you can do
Okay.
like Zelda lo-fi even, or I love Kingdom Hearts music.
I'm gonna send you some stuff.
Yes,
Oh,
I would
Sure.
love that.
solid.
That-
Okay, so do you like to make a playlist for like the mood?
I do, but like every time I've had Team Trouble members ask me for my playlist, they're like, "Oh, I like my music taste is so like all over the place." So I don't like to
That's so
share
funny.
them.
Okay, so Gabriel, who has been your favorite fantasy voice to do?
Ooh. Fantasy voice. It's gotta be XADEN.
Mhm,
It does have to be XADEN. I will say some of the other ones that are like him that I'm kind of getting cast,
mhm,
like Gods and Monsters. Very different
mhm,
type, but like I would say it's just that type in general. I hate
Yeah.
mhm,
to make it seem so sterile by breaking it down to an archetype, but that's really what it is. I get
Uh-huh.
mhm,
tell that type of story, that hidden pain, that
mhm,
carefully measured speech with so much like simmering underneath. But XADEN is the first person. He's the first character I played where I felt rewarded,
Mhm.
even just by fans, but my
mhm,
own inner critique, because I played a lot of characters that were rough like XADEN before XADEN in the
mhm,
genre, and I won't name any other.
mhm,
It's like that's how they make their living, and that's their books.
mhm,
Yeah.
When you're in harem, it's not just a book with intimacy. It is incredibly just like male centered. She is an object, and there's multiple of her,
Wow.
and
mhm,
Mhm.
come across these characters that and that genre demands as a narrator, they'll tell you when you get into it. They're like, yeah, don't try to give us wistful. It needs to be
mhm,
machismo all the time. And
mhm,
I felt like honestly, I couldn't talk to my other narrators because I don't know, they didn't feel the same way about it, but it felt like embarrassing doing those voices. I felt it wasn't the type of art space I was known for. I loved
mhm.
Shakespeare, great expectations.
Yeah.
Right,
I didn't want to do
right.
other stuff, but
Mhm.
it didn't feel, it's Cardi B says, "I didn't find the stripper life found me." It's the same. It's like you never think, and then you're like, "Dang, I'm voicing these characters that I don't like." You gotta
Right.
find that
Mhm.
intimacy there, and
Yeah.
XADEN was the first time I had come to the table with that voice, and it was on an IP that was so well known. It was
Mhm.
like, "Oh," and they adored XADEN, and
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
adores Violet. And I found that, like, the rougher the better, man. Like, the rougher the better, because I found I could never go too far with him
Yes.
because Rebecca Yarros wrote enough, vulnerability,
Yeah.
Mhm.
rowdy I could be, even at her, he's gonna he's that vulnerability is gonna come out, and it was just
Yeah.
a
Yeah.
blend, and I feel like, he has to be my favorite because he's not just he's given me the most confidence as Gabriel than any other character I played.
Yeah.
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 Mhm. Would you say that the dramatized version compared to, like, just the regular audiobook, would you say in how it's read and produced is, like, very different?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay.
I can't speak to Teddy Hamilton and, Rebecca
Right.
Soler, like, what their process is, but I do
Right.
know what it's like to
Mhm.
go into a studio. Um,
Mhm.
honestly, that even could have been a home record, who knows? Um, and you go in there and you just do your thing. Certain publishers will actually say, "We don't want a lot of immersion," and they're kinda just
Mhm.
want bare bones storytelling situation.
Right.
But they are incredibly different with what you are bringing to the table. I mean, Rebecca Soler has to tell that story from start to finish, and she doesn't really get a break until the bonus chapter comes in with Teddy.
Uh-huh.
She doesn't
Mhm.
get that. Whereas
Mhm.
Aya, Kai gets to just focus on her narration when it's her narration session, and then she gets to focus on the dialogue. And then when she's focusing on the dialogue, she and I and everyone else on that cast, we get to have a director that makes sure it's perfect. The
It's crazy.
scenes, the back and forth. I will say, it also made me enjoy. This is major. He made me enjoy the intimacy scenes.
Oh.
It's very on brand for XADEN.
Even if I come across books that I thought I would have hated reading in the past, I'm like, oh no, you were just missing everything that was going on here.
Yeah.
It just has to be done right, right?
Yeah.
Like,
Yes.
yeah.
That's awesome.
It's very on brand for XADEN. Okay. Okay. Which book of yours, Harriet, was the easiest to write, and which one would you say is the hardest to write?
I cannot put easy next to like anything I've written because it's just not. I can say without a doubt, Love and Exposure was the hardest to write because
Really?
all the birding research, everyone's like, oh, you wrote it because you know so much about birds. No, I did all the research for this book
To
so
write
it
the
could
book.
be like
Wow, I
authentic.
forgot.
And and so
Now you're an expert.
all the research, now my husband will show me a picture and I'm like, that's a cedar waxwing. And he's like, okay, you are a nerd. but like so it's putting all the research into this, but then more than that, it was that suspense trying to meet the like rom-com. And if you ask my alpha readers, I was ready to either send the book or myself off a cliff in October because it wasn't working. Like it was too intense. There was so much going on. I had to scale it way back and I had to figure out how to keep weaving the cute stuff in there. And it was not easy.
Now, romantic suspense has quickly become one of my favorite
I can
genres.
see why. I need to get into it more.
And because I'm not a thriller girly, like I do not like to give myself anxiety when I already have enough of it. Like I'm good. So if you like, I found Catherine Cow's books and I'm like, I don't know. Read it. I binged all of the books in her series because it had enough romance to like offset the thriller aspect of it. And then when you're getting, it gives you more than just like your typical Hallmarky like rom-com. It's just like a deeper aspect. So it's more fun to get into it because you're like, I have no idea what's going to happen.
Well, like reading Love and Exposure, when it got to the part where they're at the party and they overheard the conversation, I was like, wait, is this turning into something? Like, what is happening with this? Like, this is sketchy. What's happening?
Yeah, and whenever
you going that way.
Yeah, and whenever you hear Gabriel do that scene, oh my gosh, it is so good because Virgil starts off and he's like this friendly, like scholarly kind of guy, and then he gets into it and it is creepy. It is so good. Like the way he just like flips.
So excited.
Harry, I'll tell you what though, like make a note to Johnny, like maybe we redo that first chapter that Virgil's in because like again I'm thinking Virgil's like I'm going off the name. I'm like Virgil. I said, oh, you know what? We're doing all these men. I was like, it's good to have a scholar in here. And I was like, you know what, Virgil? Is it Trevor's story? I'm sure Virgil's like he's gonna be so pleasant, and so he's just like, hey guys, and I was like, this has taste, and he is culture. And so as I went on, I slowly just like weaved in more culture. And then by the time what I'm really trying to do is smooth his voice out and get him to where I want him subtly. And then we get to that scene and it's like, it's the same voice, but it's all in a vicious whisper.
No, it's so good.
No, you leave everything the same because when we're reading the first few chapters, that's how I pictured Virgil too.
Yeah. I thought it was good. I'll go back and listen again, but I was like, no, this is it like makes the hair on the back of your neck stand on
like
it.
disarming too. I've like in the past I've been told like when I was like acting on stage in school, like if I'm playing a villain, like or who done it, I really want to give it away that it's me. And I started thinking Virgil was a little weird. I didn't know it was gonna be suspense, but I was even before it happened, I was like, you know what? I really played in your face, Virgil, but there's something about you that you ain't all the way there. I thought.
You ain't all the way there.
Listen, I was like, I know the plot point is that he's trying to get with the girl. I said, it's Virgil. I said, I definitely did not give him that any competition there. And then I said, oh, You steal it?
Oh.
I gave you a perfect voice. Like, yeah, you steal and you sound like you steal on the low and you get people to steal for you.
That's
You
right. Exactly. Exactly.
Oh, Gabriel, have you ever kind of been reading lines and narrating and kind of just like laughed or like had an emotion that you should not have had in that particular scene that you've had to be like, "Oh, cut that"?
Okay, well, I'll definitely like I will just burst out laughing if I enjoy it, but inappropriate. I'm trying to. I know it's happened. I feel so bad. I don't want people to think of anything, but I was doing a harem book, um, and the men in those books are so aggressive. Like they're nice to their women, but like sometimes I feel like these authors will have like the main character like beat up on a woman, but a bad woman, and it's just a little too much. And this character shows up, and we're trying to infiltrate, and like she's like an elven guard. Bro, it's just like out of nowhere. I was like, and I like burst out laughing, and my friend Diana's like, she's the one narrating with me, and we're on Discord. I was like, "Girl," she was like, "What did we just read?" I said, "He just he has no reason." She was in her boudoir. She had no reason to do this. And I'm like, "What are we reading? We're tired of these chicken shit gigs."
You have the same inner monologue we have while we're like, "What just happened?"
Well, seriously. Yeah.
Yeah,
That's so funny.
but it's live.
But it's live, yeah. You're like,
Like, this is stereotype. Why did he punch her in the throat? It's just like it's so scary.
Yeah. Okay, Harriet, what's your favorite kind of romantic dynamic? Is it like enemies to lovers, friends to lovers, or
I love enemies to lovers, and it doesn't even have to be the classic like knife to throat. I'll read that too, obviously, but anytime there's tension, I eat it up. And then when you can get the like kind of mean banter at first,
Yeah.
I don't know what's wrong with me, but I love it.
no,
favorite.
100%.
That's our favorite.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, like morally great, obviously, but then like I want y'all like about to slit each other's throats,
Yeah.
and then you can fall in love. But like that's what
Yeah.
I prefer.
Okay, so actually, I'm going to take that back. Don't read Catherine Cowell's books. Read Victoria Wilder's books.
Okay, all right, I'm writing it down.
Because she is romantic suspense and her audiobooks are fantastic.
Okay.
Yeah.
They're like Kentucky based, so they're
And they
all like
all
the
have
southern
Samantha
thick
Brentmore, I think, is the
drawl.
female.
That's
She's
so funny though, because the southern ones are great for drama. Southern people, I lived in Georgia. They know drama. They read
Carolina, you know?
drama. They live.
Mhm.
No, it's crazy because it's like farm, you know, but then there's like a romantic suspense, and the first book is she's in the witness protection program, like running, and it's just so good.
Love that.
You need to listen to it.
I will.
Highly recommend. Highly recommend. And the banter in all three of her books is what makes it
I'm all
fantastic.
about.
Yes. Okay, Gabriel. So with kind of like the timeline, I guess, of when the OG audiobook of Fourth Wing came out and then like leading up to the dramatized version, like did you feel a lot of pressure with like kind of who XADEN had become to the fan base of Fourth Wing when going into this dramatized version?
Oh yeah. Yeah. Especially like Lucien was the first time I got any type of star surrounding my voice work. But it was just came out of the blue. It everything about it was just not nerve-wracking at all. It was like, "Oh, this is awesome. Great." But then when you're the MMC, like Aiden Ryerson, yeah, I mean, I was really nervous. I got to listen to I did listen to that whole audiobook all the way through, the very first one, because the turnaround was so quick. In order like getting cast and then recording, I was like, "I'm gonna need to cheat. I'm gonna need to listen to this audiobook."
Yeah.
And when I got the Teddies, I was like, "Yeah, we're both not 22, and we're gonna have to make this work." And believe it or not, and I don't even say this to be facetious. I actually there's one element that I kinda used and incorporated into my XADEN, and it's the narration, because I was like it was my first time getting to narrate as an MMC of a book that was celebrated by so many people.
Yeah.
You know, I never got to narrate in that voice a book with this when I wanted to be perfect. And I was like, "How is he doing it?" And I was hearing it, and there was like this angst that was there. There was
Yeah.
voice. And believe it or not, for me, I'm like, I like it because he's selling it was his attempt to sell like the boy aspect of it.
Yes.
Mhm.
It's like my characters skew more mature. I was like, you know what, Gabe?
Mhm.
Yeah, make him achy, man. I wanted him to sound like a Backstreet Boy. Like
Yes.
I wanted him to sound like a Backstreet Boy, like what I thought of like my own achy breaky pop star.
Yes.
Can I just say also, I am so excited to hear you play him like as the villain for the next book. It's gonna be so
I
good.
I literally, when you were talking about it earlier, I was like, villains, Aiden. I'm
Yes,
sad
I'm here for
thing is
it.
people keep saying it and I can't let myself get too excited
I'm
about it
sorry, but
because
it's gonna be great.
only because it's okay. Only because she may turn around and just give him again like a 13-minute chapter and call it a day. I mean, but it could make sense, you know, like I know
Yeah,
Zayden's gone, but do I want to depart from my heavily written FMC
right.
book? Some people don't like a stylistic change. I think it's
Yeah.
earned this time around, but I'm keeping low expectations because if
Yeah.
I'm afraid of being like, yeah, I'm excited for this villain narrative, and then I get the script and it's like I don't really get to do them, you know, I don't really get to do it. Um,
That would break my
Like,
heart.
if
I would be
my
so
theories
sad.
were to come true, if my theories were to like be heard, you'd have a plenty of full of parts
yeah.
because of her sickness and like where we're
Yeah.
gonna see villain Satan. Like that's where I'm like, maybe Rebecca, can you think
Yeah.
the way I think? Like
Yeah.
you can't give us like this much of villain
Send
Satan.
her
That
your
won't be
notes,
enough.
Oh, because
okay?
I feel like, and I really was like, again, when the voice is already deep, and you're like, that last chapter, that he's in a graphics version of part 2 of Onyx Storm, I
Mhm.
even try to go another layer of devoid of emotion, another layer of like savagery, uh,
Oh,
and it was so much fun to do. Doing that for a whole book, that'll be a challenge. But I feel like
Yeah.
after that, I'm like, cast me as Batman. What are we doing?
Let's do it.
Absolutely.
yes.
Now, I definitely feel like there will be a lot of signets coming into play,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
I'm not gonna spoil that for people who have not read Onyx Storm.
True.
Okay.
Like I don't want to take over my fan theories that I know are lost.
Yeah. We could literally talk for another hour on that, but okay, so do you see yourself writing any more romantic suspense books or anything maybe out of the romance genre?
So I am writing outside the romance genre because the ghostwriting job I'm doing, it's a memoir for a multimillionaire. I'm not getting paid multi-millions for it, but I'm writing his story, which by the way is really cool whenever you've got someone and he's like, I've
Oh,
never told anyone this before. And I'm like, T, let's go. This is gonna be so awesome.
sad.
Dude,
Yes.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm doing that. And I think I'll always, when I'm writing for myself, I always had to have romance in it just because I don't know, I love it. I love the dynamic. I love having relationships in there. But
Mhm.
do I do kind of tend to sway more towards like the angsty stuff, and I've tried to keep it really like light and cute in the Trouble series.
Mhm.
But it does come out in my first unpublished novel. It was really intense. I don't think it'll ever see the light of day, but right now I'm working on a romantasy. And again, I don't know. I think it will be a little bit more on the lights. It will be lighthearted, but I love the angst. I love the
Mhm.
angst.
and
Mhm.
So you're working on a romantasy.
Yes.
because think about Rebecca Yarros and what she was writing
Yeah.
before
Yeah.
this.
Oh, yeah,
Right.
100%.
It's so incredible. I love it when an author starts here and then they go there. And as
Yeah.
you've
Mhm.
proven that you're willing to do the research about something you do not know. So it means that you can actually do anything.
Thank you,
Yeah.
Gabriel.
Literally.
All right.
Literally.
And
I'm
Debney
right back.
Perry did that too.
Yeah, true.
Debney Perry, Shield of Sparrows, that was her first romantasy.
Yes.
And
It was
Yes.
crushed
fantastic.
it. That
Yeah.
was such a
It was
good book.
fantastic.
I'm
Yeah.
sat for a romantasy, so I'm here
All
for it.
right. All
I'm so
right.
excited.
All right.
Literally,
Awesome.
that's like Fourth Wing is so like obviously I was a Twilight girly in high school, like
Yeah.
Team Edward all the way. We were just debating that. But
Team
like
Jacob.
whatever.
I would take it back then.
Yeah.
I just know vampires. Okay, so
I love vampires now. Like I was like, what were you doing? Like it was vampires all the way.
literally like I tell her all the time if I could have gotten a tattoo when the series came out like and so the lion fell in love with the lamb would have been tattooed on me somewhere. Like, it would have been somewhere because I was like, I'm sad for this. But like, it was Fourth Wing that got me back into reading, like sitting and physically reading a book. Like, it was that book. And since then, like, I read like 82 books last year. I was like, I didn't usually do that. And so it was that book that like
Wonderful.
triggered everything for me. So I'm sad for a
Love it.
romantasy.
All right. Awesome.
Yes.
Here for
Okay,
it.
so Gabriel, going off of what we were just talking about with XADEN and maybe LUCIEN, like, did you know that there was going to be a line that people went absolutely feral for?
Oh yeah, yeah. Definitely my house, my chair, my
Yeah.
woman.
Yeah.
For
Okay.
sure. You know, I didn't
Yeah.
there were a lot of great quotes. That was my favorite, or the first one. Um,
Mhm.
the bendable, breakable, "You are a violent little thing" line.
Yeah.
That
Yes.
one. My house, my chair, my woman. Yo, that one is so on the nose. I know I can make
Mhm.
multiple takes for Scott. If y'all like the one that he went with, then I like the one. There was another one in there that was a little more subtle. Um, the thing is, though, about that entire scene, like, I read that entire book, but when you're in the session, just the way you're jumping around the script,
Mhm.
sometimes it's like you sometimes are not aware where you are.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
literally, when he's taking off her greaves on the throne, I am not even as the actor aware of what's about to happen. I'm like, "Oh, he's about to, like, have a good little heart-to-heart conversation with her," and that's why he's, like, talking to you and until it happens, and you're like, "Am I
Oh.
I'm alone, like, in my booth," but Kaya has got her on the call, like, no one can see me be like, "Oh, how are we doing, Violet?" You know, like, 'cause another thing too, y'all about the scream that XADEN lets out really quickly, and then another about Fourth Wing. In the first one, when Liam dies, when he passes,
Oh.
like, and I let out the
Mhm.
guttural scream.
You had to
Never
go there.
I have to I put everything into that scream because I love now I'm into the romance of it all, but first,
Mhm.
I'm attracted to the story with, like, the fighting and the dragons,
Yeah.
you know? And I'm like, "Ooh, okay, we're part 2 of book 1. I can't wait till we start getting to, like, the fight scene." Well, just the way you jump around the script, I was doing the fight scenes without
Mhm.
fully realizing it. I know I had, like, some yells here or, like, a grunt here, but because Violet is the main character, she would probably feel that action scene more than
Mhm.
me. I
Yeah.
didn't realize we had already gone through it, and so then I was like, "Okay, Scott, when are we gonna do the big battle?" He was like, "Gabe, it's
That
over."
was
I said, "Well, what's next?" Gut-wrenching scream. I go,
Oh.
I let it out, and
Mm.
it was both it was the heartbreak. What you were hearing was the character, but what you were hearing was the heartbreak of feeling like, I want if my character's in a battle and struggling, you
Mhm.
I wanna feel that as the actor. So to
Yeah.
know
Uh-huh.
the window had already passed, and I didn't even if I did a great job, I didn't get to feel that way.
Mhm.
I betrayed Liam. I was like, I didn't grieve his death when it was happening, so I have to grieve it now.
Oh.
Oh. Now we gotta go back and re-listen.
Oh, yeah.
Exactly.
Harriet, is there any advice that you would give to an aspiring author?
I would say write what you love. There's gonna be an audience out there for it, but to write what you love, um,
Well,
don't worry about it if you end up writing something and it doesn't work out. If you've got to start over, that happens to me all the time. And it's you sometimes you just got to keep failing, like Gabriel was talking about. You just got to keep failing until you do succeed. So that's all I've got. I'm too early in the game to give real advice, but that's all I've got.
Would you say your writing process has changed a lot
Oh my
from
god.
even writing the first and the 11?
Yes, I would definitely say, and it really before Love and Ink, whenever I had the book that I really started working on after I graduated high school, it took me 10 years to finish it, and that was
Mhm.
really just like teaching me how to write a book, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
And so my process has changed a lot from that. Like I know
Mhm.
it doesn't need to take us 10 years to write a book, but also just like knowing I've got a certain elements that I need to have figured out out before I sit down and start like typing it out. But other than that, it is still a hot mess. And every single time it's a new book, I'm like, this time I've got it figured out. I've got my method. It's going to be fine. I'll put like 30,000 words in an outline and I'll go to write it. And I'll be like, well, we're changing the game plan now. Or like with Love and Exposure, I got probably 50% through with it. And I realized I was going to have to scrap everything I'd just written because it wasn't working. It's crazy.
Oh,
It's a
no.
mess, and
Like,
not
I
everyone
don't
does
know
it. Not everyone does it this way, but that's the only
Is that
way
not
I know
like just
how.
so gut-wrenching to do, though? Like, I can't imagine putting all that in there and just being like, bye.
Yeah.
Like,
there was
I
a go ahead.
I was just gonna say I used to feel I still feel that way, but it's
mhm,
made a little, I don't know, it doesn't hurt as bad because a different author was talking about how every single thing you write down, you are becoming better. So it's okay
mhm,
if you because it wasn't a
Uh-huh.
waste.
Yeah,
mhm.
Yeah.
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 Definitely right.
Well, Gabriel, kind of rounding up with that from the other side of that, do you have any advice for anyone who is looking to get into potentially narration or even voice acting?
Yeah. Let's keep it in the, a little bit into the narration realm. Um, get familiar with ACX, so that is the independent platform where a lot of independent authors go there to produce books, and you can audition.
Mm,
You can, as long as you have the equipment, you can audition right there
yeah.
to start. And I would say if you're like, how competitive is it? Anywhere from around 80 to 100 submissions per title,
Wow.
but you get to audition again and again and again on there. So
Mhm,
Mhm.
narration, do that. Um, and then voiceover, get a space. Lot
mhm,
that you can do, and there's a lot that people can do to help you with your career as long as you have space. That's the most important thing, especially people who have come from an acting background or even a theater background like me. There is something about whether it's narration, romanticy, or voice acting, there's a different level of immersion that you have to train yourself to be able to bring out. And it's going to be a completely different mechanic than the mechanics you would use on the stage to make yourself bigger, to make the character more interesting. A lot of it transfers over, but a lot of it
Mhm.
doesn't. I meet so many voiceover people and I'll hear them to kind of like begin to act. And all of a sudden, I'm hearing a flatness that I would never associate with their level of acting prowess. But you really have to learn to act behind a microphone.
Uh,
You have to
mhm.
listen and you have to be patient in order to be the type of audiobook narrator that Harriet talks about, where you feel like you're bringing that author's vision to life, like exactly
mhm,
as they
Yeah.
intended it. That's listening. Like
Yeah.
mhm,
is listening. No amount of having a knack for acting is ever going to get that level of accuracy. You have to really pay attention, and I find that the people who do really well out the gate are those who already are patient people when they get behind that microphone.
Mm.
Agreed. Yeah. That's good advice. Yeah.
Well, thank you guys so much for joining
Yeah.
us.
Yeah, my
Of
We
course.
had so much
pleasure.
fun talking about
Yeah, that
this.
was so fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And join us next week as we don't know what we're talking about yet, but come next week to find out.
Thank you for having
Bye.
having
Yeah,
us.
thank you.